So thank you for a warm welcome, and yeah, hearty greetings from Australia. I'm speaking to you from the Blue Mountains, which are just outside of Sydney. And it's a lovely sunny afternoon here. So the topic today is, why do challenges come? I think it's fairly safe to say that that life is never without challenges. There's an expression that comes to mind, and I'm told it's a Chinese expression. And the expression is, may you live in interesting times. Some people say it's a blessing, and some people say it's a curse. So which is it? We certainly don't want a life that's mundane and routine and boring. Same day after day after day, predictable that one day is going to be the same as the next. This, I think we would agree, would be a curse. So we would like some interest in our lives. On the other hand, interest can mean that the unexpected can happen. It means that there's a level of unpredictability in our life. And when things pop up suddenly, it can be at a time when we least expect it, when we're least prepared, and we feel that we're being stretched. And so in this way, if I'm living in interesting times, it might seem like a bit of a curse. Perhaps it's a bit of both. But certainly I think a life of challenges would fall under that umbrella of living in interesting times. And yeah, I probably don't need to remind you or tell you that the last couple of years have been globally, I think they certainly qualify as what we would call interesting times. I think most of us will have faced challenges over the last couple of years, both externally, so in terms of our working environment, our social environment, our routine being interrupted. But then subsequently, also bringing about changes in our inner world, our internal world. Because what happens when we meet challenges is that it calls for a new approach. If there was a regular challenge that we met and we were prepared for it, it wouldn't prove to be an obstacle. Sometimes even we invite challenges, and I'm thinking of people who'll challenge themselves. It's a very popular thing that, people want to climb Mount Everest. Why would anyone want to climb Mount Everest? Because they say it's there, because it's a challenge. And as the highest mountain in the world, they feel it's symbolic that they have met one of the biggest challenges that there is in the world. So why would someone want to climb a mountain? The process of taking on and meeting a challenge reveals to us our capacities. It reveals to us our strengths, and it reveals to us also our weaknesses. So I would suggest we invite challenges because we want to know what our capacity is. And certainly a mountain climber climbing Mount Everest, or we could say, an Olympic athlete is wanting to challenge themselves to know what their capacity is. In addition to that, they might discover that their capacity is not as much as they would like it to be. If they didn't meet the approach of Mount Everest on the first time, that would tell them that, yeah, maybe I need more preparation, maybe I need more training, maybe even it's just not the time. So I think, why do challenges come? Challenges come to reveal to us who we really are. When I first took up the study of Raj Yoga, initially it was just for peace of mind. I was searching for happiness, and it made sense to have a quiet mind, have a peaceful mind, and to be in control of my thoughts and my feelings. This seemed like an essential ingredient in a happy life. But as I started to listen more and more to the knowledge, there were layers of understanding that were being revealed. And I could see that this was an opportunity for me to come to know exactly who I was. I think this is something that's important for many of us. And I think most of us on a spiritual journey would like to come to know who we really are. Certainly, I think if I reach the end of this lifetime without understanding who I was, I think I would feel a bit shortchanged or perhaps even deceived. So there are a variety of different challenges that we might meet. I think climbing a mountain or training for a gold medal is something that appeals to the hero within us. You know, it appeals to an internal image of us being well, you think of a challenger in a sports ring when there's two famous opponents. There might be a reigning champion, and the one who chooses to be the challenger. If they meet the champion and they can outwit the champion, or stronger, faster, whatever it is, then they become the champion. So as I say, this appeals to the hero within, that we like to be like that. When I reflect on the last couple of years, a lot of the challenges that that came to us were unexpected, and they would wear away at us very, very gradually and very slowly. So our patience, our tolerance, our enthusiasm, even our sense of well-being, and our capacity to keep a positive outlook, these things were quite slowly kind of worn away. And so sometimes the simple challenge that we might have to face is just to get out of bed in the morning. I think most of us have probably had at least 1 or 2 days in our life when it was like that. So I don't think we need to climb mountains to be seeing that we're meeting a challenge. Managing relationships is something that we do on a daily basis. Something, you know, like getting out of bed or managing a relationship, it's when something that we've been dealing with every day all of a sudden becomes difficult. It's time for a reset. A challenge might come in the form of what I'd call a red flag. situations become difficult, and it reveals to me that there's some sort of imbalance in my life. As I said, it might be a challenge in our relationships. And so this invites me to examine, what do I bring to the relationship? Why has this relationship become difficult? And so rather than something heroic, the challenge might be a new level of honesty, operating from a place of deeper integrity, and being someone who's prepared to listen, creating space for another person. So I think in this way, challenges are leading us. Every challenge is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to become a fuller and a more whole person. Certainly when we find ourselves in a situation that's overwhelming, it's a universal response when life just becomes too big and more than I can handle. And I feel overwhelmed by this kind of challenge. The response is that we will call out for help. And if I'm in what looks like a disaster and no one's around, I'll end up calling out to God. I do like the story. Someone said that, you know, there might be a plane cruising along at a lovely altitude, and people of all different ideologies and all different mindsets are on the plane. But all of a sudden, when the plane hits turbulence, and maybe the plane will drop 50 or 100 meters in the air, the comment was, there are no longer any atheists on board. Meaning that everyone, regardless of where they're coming from, will be calling out to God. So why do we call out to God when a challenge comes? God is remembered as the protector of the devotees. And one Hindi title that I dearly love, that I came to know, Bigadi Ko Banane Wala, if I've pronounced it correctly, the one who puts right that which has been spoiled. So my personal experience over the last year, I found myself in the retreat center where I stay, taking on new responsibilities, and due to a change in the personnel and the people staying here, finding myself in a position of responsibility to run the kitchen. And having moved here a year ago, that was not the intention, and that was not the reason why I moved here. But we could say the drama of life had a different proposal. And so each weekend, you know, we have different groups, we have different occasions and different events happening here. And so there'll be all variety of challenges in terms of the number of people that we have to cater for, finding volunteers who are happy to help out, getting everything done within the time frames. And all the while, doing my best to maintain a level and balanced outlook. And what I found is that it's never more than I can handle. It's probably more than I could handle by myself. But what these challenges have brought me to is that I act in partnership with God. And, you know, those times when a situation is such, I really don't know what to do next, which way to move. What I tend to do is to sit quietly and create a bit of silence and create a bit of space. And I put my question to that one, the Supreme Soul or God. And it's amazing the different varieties of magic that take place. It might be that a phone rings and there's someone on the other end with an answer. It might be that someone walks in through the door and they ask, how can I help? It might be that the huge obstacle or the number of people that I had to cater for all of a sudden becomes less. So a whole variety of different things can change. And in all of these different challenges that have come my way, it reveals to me the value of being patient, and that no matter how difficult a situation might be, the nature of any situation is that it will eventually change, that things don't stay the same. It's interesting that over the last 2 years in the COVID period, we've had quiet time, but also, when life came back to some sort of normalcy, everything started to speed up. So it's like we have to catch up with all the, for the time that we had that was slow, and time to breathe, time to relax. And it's like when life resumed in a normal way, we had to double our speed to catch up. But my feeling is that in terms of my connection with the Supreme Soul, part of that relationship is that one a parent and I'm the child. Now, ever since I started this journey, I always held it in mind and held it in my heart that a parent who cared for a child would never ask them to do anything more than they were capable of. A parent wouldn't send a very young child on a shopping trip out into the world. They'd do it for themselves or find another way. And so seeing myself as a child of the divine, the supreme, I know that whatever comes my way, I see that challenge as an opportunity for growth. I think it's all our nature, and it comes very naturally that we like to find our comfort zone. And as much as possible, we like to stay in our comfort zone. Now, challenges come in order for us to grow. And as lovely as it is to be in our comfort zone, where we don't have to put up too much effort, we don't need to put in too much energy. We like to be in a place where we can cruise and life is easy. But it does get to a time when it can become quite boring. And so challenges come to take us out of our comfort zone and to enable us to grow. So as I started, a spiritual journey is one of discovery. A spiritual journey is such that it is an opportunity to reflect, and to see ourselves, to witness ourselves in different situations. And for those who are familiar with the Brahmakumaris, they'll know that one of the distinguishing features is that this is a place of study, a place of spiritual study. And what happens in the process of study is that at the end of every year, we're tested. And if we're in our comfort zone, we don't like to be tested. But the value of being tested is we know, how we can meet the grade, how we are capable. And of course, what happens every year in a study is at the end of the year, there's those tests. And what happens when we meet the tests? We move up a grade. And so, yeah, it's stressful. It can be stressful. It can be a source of anxiety when we're tested. But the sense of achievement that when we've met the challenge and we've proven ourselves, and not even to anyone else, I think without the tests, there would always be a doubt for myself of what I'm capable of. Because I think our actions, it's not just for those looking on, our actions reveal to ourselves what we're really capable of and how we respond to situations. And so we're a witness to every action that we perform. And so this is why I think it's good to invite the challenges. If I want to know who I am, if I want to be aware of my strengths, if I want to take the opportunity to have my weaknesses revealed to me so that I can work on them and so that I can improve, challenges are the way to move forward. So I think we're nearly at our time. We're going to have a little bit of meditation. I will give you the blessing of, may you live in interesting times. And as one of our teachers, Daddy Janki, once said, someone asked her, Daddy, is it true that life will only give us as much as we can handle? And she said, if that were the case, if we were only given as much as we could handle, she said, what would the point of God be? So God is the one who helps us fill the gap of what we can handle and our capacity. So thank you. I'll invite the tech team if they'd like to have a little bit of music. So just being present. Sitting quietly. And letting my attention rest on the point of light before me. Stepping inside. I, the soul, the actor, playing my part. I look at the world as a stage. And life as a drama of many scenes. some of joy and entertainment, and others of challenge. Just as time never stands still, nor does life. Spirituality has been described as being able to flow with life. So when I take a spiritual approach to the challenges that come, let me create that space, some inner silence, even just for a minute or two. And let me invite the company of the Supreme Soul. So when a challenge comes, let me pose a question. And in silence, with patience, the answer will come. Let me be open to new ways, perhaps help from an unexpected source. So that I can flow with life. And so that a challenge doesn't have to be an obstacle. Om Shanti.